Hello, this is your host, Renata Ortega. Welcome to today's episode of the Cycle Breaker and Changemaker podcast. This podcast is all about how to break free from negative generational cycles in order to create meaningful, lasting changes. For helpful tools and answers to your most pressing questions, be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Cycle Breaker Changemaker. I look forward to helping you on your cycle breaking and change-making journey. I promise you will find nothing more rewarding than this. Hello and welcome back to the Cycle Breaker and Changemaker podcast with Renata Ortega. I'm really glad you're here. Today's episode is one that feels close to home for many of us in the healing space, especially those who grew up misunderstood, silenced, or constantly trying to prove we weren't enough. We're diving deep into the complicated relationship trauma survivors often have with oversharing, why we do it, what it really signals, and how to move toward more conscious, connected communication. So let's begin where many of us learned this pattern, in the absence of safety. For many trauma survivors, oversharing isn't carelessness, it's a defense mechanism. When you've experienced a life where your voice was silenced, your truth denied, or your needs invalidated, you might learn to try to earn safety and connection by laying it all out there, fast. You might recognize this thought. If I tell you everything up front, maybe I'll finally be seen, understood, or accepted. What begins as a desperate attempt for authentic connection can quickly turn into a pattern of giving too much, too soon, to people who may not have earned that level of access to you. That's not vulnerability. That's unfiltered survival mode. Oversharing often stems from nervous system dysregulation. When you're in fight or flight or fawn mode, your brain bypasses thoughtful reflection. Instead of titrated safe disclosure, you flood. You give the unedited version of your story because your body believes connection must be secured immediately or not at all. Think of it as emotional impulsivity, and in some cases, it's actually a test. We overshare to see who will stay. We trauma bond instead of truth bond. But this isn't fair to you, or to the person receiving it, because you're not giving from overflow, you're bleeding from a wound. I've done it. I've trauma dumped. I've shared deeply personal things in the first 15 minutes of meeting someone because I thought it would foster closeness. I confused intimacy with immediacy. I used to think that if I told someone my story right away, if I showed them my scars, they'd be less likely to hurt me. I was wrong. What I learned instead was this. Disclosing your trauma doesn't prevent being re-traumatized. It often increases the risk, especially if you haven't yet built a foundation of trust. When I learned to slow down, to assess who actually felt safe, and to speak from a regulated nervous system, not my panic, I began to experience the kind of connection that didn't leave me feeling raw and ashamed afterward. Let's make a crucial distinction. Vulnerability is intentional. It's a gift. It requires discernment. Oversharing is unfiltered. It's a discharge of emotion, not an invitation to connection. Brené Brown said it best. Vulnerability without boundaries is not vulnerability. It's confession, desperation, or manipulation. That might sound harsh, but it's deeply compassionate when you really sit with it. You deserve to share your story in a way that honors your healing, not exposes your pain to those who haven't earned it. In order to know if you're oversharing, ask yourself, am I sharing this because I feel emotionally safe? Or am I trying to fast-track connection or avoid rejection? Do I feel resourced enough to handle their reaction? What need am I trying to meet by sharing this? If the answer reveals that you're speaking from fear or urgency, pause. That's not shameworthy. It's information. It's your body waving a flag that says, I need something, but I'm not sure this is the safest way to get it. Let's frame how we share, with safety and care in mind. Here's what trauma-informed sharing practice can look like. Step 1. Check your nervous system. Are you grounded? Regulated? If not, pause. Do some breath work. Place your hand on your heart. Take a walk. Come back to yourself. Step 2. Discern the space. Who are you speaking to? Are they safe? Empathetic? Will they hold what you share with care? Or will they use it for gossip, judgment, or control? Step 3. Be honest about your intentions. Is this a moment for catharsis or connection? Are you ready for feedback or just needing to be witnessed? Step 4. Practice consent. This is powerful. I'd like to share something vulnerable. Do you have the capacity to hold space right now? That simple check-in models emotional maturity and empowers the other person. Step 5. Honor privacy as power. Privacy is not secrecy, it's sovereignty. You are allowed to hold parts of your story close until you're ready, and you're allowed to never share certain pieces at all. Oversharing might once have kept you safe, but now you're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to be slow, intentional, and selective. That doesn't make you guarded. It makes you wise. And when you find someone who can meet you in that wisdom, who honors your boundaries, and listens without rushing to fix or judge, that's the intimacy you've been seeking all along. To the younger version of you, who believed they had to spill everything to be loved, who thought sharing trauma was the price of admission into closeness, who mistook emotional exposure for emotional safety. You don't have to do that anymore. You can breathe now. You can trust your pace. You can speak from your healing, not your hurt. Thank you for showing up today. For yourself, for your inner child, and for the future connections you're nurturing. You are worthy of being held, not just heard. Until next time, keep honoring your voice, gently, patiently, powerfully. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Cycle Breaker and Changemaker. I would love to hear from you and to receive your feedback. Remember, you can reach me on Instagram or Facebook at Cycle Breaker Changemaker. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts in order to help me continue to help you. I am looking forward to having you join me for the next episode. Until then, please take care.